Hey guys, this is Phil, reviewing a game called Turmoil for the Commodore 64. For some strange reason I thought this was a VIC-20 game, but maybe because the graphics are pretty primitive, but no, in fact it was the Commodore 64. Not quite sure how I'm going to talk about this game for 5 or so minutes because there's really not an awful lot to it, but it was one of the first games that I had on the Commodore 64, so it has a kind of I suppose sentimental value. I think I actually had it on a disk drive, so that was quite something back then, having a game on a disk, and it meant that it loaded in probably a minute or so rather than 5+ minutes. This game came out in 1982, so it's pretty old now, and it was made by a company called Sirius, who were founded in 1980 by Jerry Jewell and Nasir Gibelli. I hope I pronounced that right. Interestingly enough, in their first year, they produced 5 games, which is not bad going, really, when you consider how long it takes to create a game these days. In fact, we've got Skyrim coming out today. We're recording this on the 11th of the 11th of the 11th, and that game took 5 years, so just one game, so it's quite a difference between then and now. Other games that Sirius made were Flash Gordon and Repton. Repton's quite a famous game, which many of you no doubt have at least heard of. And the company, unfortunately, collapsed due to 20th Century Fox owing them $18 million in royalties. Not quite sure what that was all about, but hence why you probably haven't heard of the company, or certainly not in a long time. But amazingly enough, in those 4 years they produced a total of 160 games. Again, that's something that you're not going to find happening today unless it's kind of homebrew games. Games now, they take so much development and huge teams of programmers and graphic artists and musicians. These days, you know, the days of one guy sitting in his bedroom drinking copious amounts of coffee and goodness knows what else, bashing out a game in a few hours or even a few days, long gone, unfortunately. So as you can see, the gameplay pretty simplistic. I guess the plot is you're this spaceship and you have to kill everything. That is pretty much it in a nutshell. But it's quite unique in the sense that most shoot 'em ups in those days were either side scrollers or following the typical kind of Space Invader format. Whereas with this, as you can see, you're in the middle, and you've got these different kind of types of aliens that come across. So you've got the arrows that fly across, and if you don't shoot them, then by the time they get to the other side, they'll then turn into this kind of tank type object which you can only shoot from behind. You've then got these funny kind of circles that you see there, and you can go and collect them if you're quick enough, but if you don't, then you get those kind of funny little, I suppose, pills almost, dashing backwards and forwards on the screen. What I do like about this game, though, and it's still quite good fun to play nowadays, is it's quite frantic, and it's really very quick, and you can kind of get in the zone with this game to the extent where you're not really concentrating per se. You're just sort of, you know, letting your natural instincts take over. It's kind of similar to some of the Jeff Minter games. In fact, it's a little bit psychedelic and concentrates a lot more on simple but effective gameplay than anything else. And really, you're just trying to better your score. And I did find it a bit tricky with the joypad that I was using. I think the old joystick Competition Pro was much better for this sort of thing. But anyway, still worth checking out. Good game. I'm going to give this, let's give it 82%. Probably a little bit generous, but like I say, it's got sentimental value, nostalgic reasons and all that kind of stuff. But for what it's worth, and bearing in mind it's a pretty old game, I think that's a fair score. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and take care and speak soon.